Hey guys, how's it going? So recently I started looking at getting a new 85mm lens for my Sony a7 III. And while I was scrolling through the internet, I came across a brand I'd never heard of selling an 85mm lens at an incredibly low price. I was instantly interested to see whether this lens would be good or not. And so I reached out to the guys at SG Image and they agreed to send over their 85mm f1.8 lens for me to try out. Now, that being said, while they have sent the lens over for me, they haven't had any say in what happens in this video and all thoughts are my own. But they have very kindly set up a discount code for you guys, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. So let's head straight into London and take some photos with the lens before I tell you more about my experience with it, its build quality, and also how much it actually costs. So misty today.
Yeah.
Say hi to the video.
Oh, hi, what's up? Say hi. We both got our little magnet shirt.
We do, yeah. You might recognize this man. He was the first podcast guest. Chris was giving a talk at an event later that afternoon, so we spent the morning catching up on our walk over to Shoreditch and snapping some pics along the way.
And you've got some interesting characters in here with this guy.
Yeah. So they're all literal in the area locals.
Yeah. I think there's a thing down here that says that. There used to be a thing down here that said it, but yeah.
I've never seen this. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Nice. A little further down the road, I saw this BMW with the light coming in from the left and the pink tree behind it, and I knew I had to stop and grab a few pictures. It wasn't until I was editing the images that I actually noticed just how damaged the front end of this car is. Nice. Like the blue with the pink in the background. Okay, this is exactly what I need to warm up.
A few moments later.
Oh, so much better. Pistachio latte, black sheep coffee, always my go-to. Okay, let's get over to the Barbican. Okay, I spent most of this morning just catching up with Chris because I've not spoken to him since he was on the podcast. He was the first ever guest on the podcast, which was cool. But now it's really time to test this out. I've captured a few shots with it so far. Pretty impressed, especially for the price it is. We'll talk about more about the price and the build quality and stuff at the end of the video, but so far only a couple of issues, but otherwise, yeah, genuinely pretty impressed. But I've got way more to do today to really test this out. I'm really hoping the cloud clears as well, because it's currently the dullest, most England day ever. Anything good? How's it going?
Murky day, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I've been walking around all morning with a few people and I was like hoping the clouds would clear.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Nothing.
I was just about to leave and this woman ran past with this, see if I can find it. It was like something out of, that film Don't Look Now?
Yeah.
It was like, oh no! It disappeared.
Oh man, well hopefully it clears up a bit. Hopefully it clears up a little bit, we'll get some more sunlight in here, is nice.
Did you see all the mist kind of enveloping all the towers?
Yeah, I got a few shots around earlier.
So many of those.
Yeah, I was here last weekend, it was so sunny, it was perfect. Yeah, I was like, odd chance it today, but yeah, have a good afternoon, man. I actually bumped into this guy 2 more times that afternoon and we had a really nice chat, so shout out to Steve if you're watching.
Let's go.
Down or up? Up or down? I don't know. Just before leaving the Barbican, I stumbled across this woman, perfectly framed, and so I thought I'd grab a couple of pictures before I made my way out of the Barbican and back towards the river. Nice wing for the silent shooting. I have C1 as my crop sensor mode and C2 as silent shooting. Perfect street setup. So here I use the APS-C crop mode on the camera again to just crop in a little tighter without having to physically get closer. I find it's really helpful in situations like that where I don't want to get any closer and disturb the scene. Never taken that short simples before. I tried it much earlier, but that doesn't work with this 85. I tried it on the railings way further back, but then remember what was on it. Okay, I want to get the London Eye through here. So I'm going to get the focus and then put it back through and line up. Try it from another angle. Oh, I like that one. Cool. Something a little different. Yeah, nice. Remember, if you're shooting through something and you can pull the focus first, do it. I find it really hard to get that focus otherwise. So foggy today. Gonna keep making my way back to London Bridge and think about heading back because the sun isn't coming out. And I'm getting chilly. Okay. I think it might be time to head home. I'm gonna get a beer, enjoy it on the train, and I'll catch you back at home to talk more about this lens, its build quality, its price, and what I think of it. So firstly, I need to say that this lens has kind of impressed me. And before we go any further with the review, I think it's important that I tell you the price. This lens is only $285. $285. That is like just over £210 for an 85mm full frame f1.8 lens. So when I say that this little lens has impressed me, what I mean is that I'm shocked at how good this lens actually is for that low of a price. Now don't get me wrong, there are some improvements that could be made to this lens and we will get into that. But first of all, let's talk a bit more about my experience and the things that I do like. So let's start with the build quality. I've looked online and I cannot see where they list what this lens is made from. But based on the fact that it only weighs 396 grams with the lens hood and it's retailing for under $300, my guess is that it's made of plastic with some kind of metallic coating on it. Whatever it's made of, it doesn't feel cheap or easily breakable. And I can personally attest to that second point as while I was in London with it, I knocked it against more than one wall, and in the 2 weeks that I've owned this lens, I've dropped it on the floor. So it's a good thing they don't want this lens back. So next, let's move on to the most important part, the image quality. As long as you're not a pixel peeper, you'll love this lens. It's sharp enough at the center all the way through the aperture range. And while yes, it is slightly softer around the edges of the images, which I think we all kind of expected, it's not bad enough that it ruins any images. And if you're like me, where you find yourself very slightly cropping your images after you've taken them, it's not something that you'll actually be bothered by. And one thing I did expect to see with this lens that you get on a lot of cheaper lenses is bad vignetting. And from what I can tell through looking through the images I took, there isn't any at all. Another great thing about it is the amount of control you actually get on the lens itself. We have a function button, the AF and MF switch, the manual focus ring, and an aperture ring. We'll speak more about this aperture ring in just a second, but I think having this level of control on a lens at this price point is quite a nice touch. Although I do think we could do without the function button if that allowed more money to be put into the optics of the lens. But also I've never made a lens, so what do I know? So while we're still kind of on the topic of the aperture ring, this is probably the most disappointing part of the entire lens for me. So much so that I actually ended up not using it and left it in automatic and then just used the control dial or wheel on the front of my camera to actually adjust my aperture while I was out and about. The problem with it is that I like a tactile feel when I'm using an aperture ring, something that I can click into place and I know kind of without even looking where I'm at aperture wise. This doesn't do that. The issue is it clicks at either end of the aperture, so 1.8 and 16, but nothing in between. There is a small amount of resistance, but that's it. And talking of things they nearly got right, this lens hood is a little too tight. It kind of feels like it was manufactured just kind of like a millimeter or half a millimeter too small. Now, with that being said, I do need to remind myself that this lens costs less than a lot of 85mm lenses do secondhand, and overall, it is a pretty good lens. SG Image are a relatively new brand, and they only really got into autofocus lenses last year. So I am genuinely excited to see what they bring out over the next couple of years. And I feel like this will definitely not be the last time you see me use one of their lenses on this channel. So if you guys want to try this lens out for even cheaper than it already is, use the code StephenF, all one word, at checkout to get yourself another 8% off. With that extra discount, it takes it to below £200 for a full frame 85mm f1.8 lens. That's ridiculous. I'll leave a link in the description for the lens if you want to check it out. So that's my thoughts and experience with the lens so far, but what do you think? Are you interested? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Another good point about the lens is I've forgotten the sentence already.